right. Well, thanks so much for having me. I'm going to take this off. I know so many faces down here, and if you know me, I have nothing planned for this, so I'm just going to kind of wing it. I think that the videos are a very hot topic right now, and I'm happy to talk about those and answer any questions that you have later. I think that, the videos are showing something that is really important that the pregnancy center movement can capitalize on, the pro-life movement can capitalize on. And that's not that the videos are so horrendous and they're so egregious, but it's the need for mercy and the need for rehumanization in our very fallen world. So, it's like Mark said, look, the issue for me is not about what they're doing with these babies after they're aborted. The issue is that they're aborting them in the first place. That really is at the core of this. And I think, one thing that we're able to really take from these videos is, and one thing that's been great is that there's been a lot of attention for the video toward the videos, and that's fantastic. But I think that we have an opportunity right now to reach out to our donors, to reach out to our clients, to reach out to our community, and to let them know that there are healing resources for people who have experienced an abortion, who have worked in the abortion clinic. This is our time to be the people of mercy. This is our time to show people that Christ offers not just mercy, but scandalous mercy to those who ask for it. And so I think this is really a time that we can let people know, we can connect people to our post-abortion healing ministries at our centers and those that are in the pro-life movement. And I think it's an opportunity for us to not be outraged, right? Because people go, oh, I'm so outraged by these videos. We don't need rage in the pro-life movement, okay? If you feel rage, then you need to sit at home and pray about it for a little bit and come back when you're feeling compassionate, okay? We don't need rage out in front of these abortion clinics. Look, there's enough anger and there's enough heartache inside of those abortion clinic walls. We don't need it out there on the sidewalk. We don't need it in our pregnancy centers, and we don't need it inside of the pro-life movement. So I think that we can really talk to people about the necessity of forgiveness, that we're called to forgive. It's not an option, that we have to forgive. And I think that it's a very important time for us to talk about the power of conversion. Now, I remember when I went to the pro-life group in my town, and, they had reached out to me for 8 years. Every day. They were outside, and they were reaching out to me, and they were telling me that they could help me find a job if I ever wanted to leave, and they were offering me resources. And every day, I basically turned around, blew them off, and walked in to do my job. And then the time came where I did want to leave, and I did need help. And because of their constant reminder, I went to them. And I remember walking into their office that day, and I remember looking at them on the couch and just thinking, what do I say? What do I say to these people who have been watching me walk into this abortion clinic every day for 8 years? What do I say to them? Sorry. I mean, what do you say? And I remember I was sitting on the couch and I was just weeping. And the only thing that I could even get to come out of my mouth was, I have been wrong and you have been right. And that could have been an opportunity for them to go, we know. Why do you think we've been out there? Now, are you going to give us a big old apology or what? Because you haven't been nice to us. You've said some ugly things. You've turned the sprinklers on us when we're standing outside. You have not always been friendly to us. We expect an apology. But you know what? They didn't. They just looked at me and said, it's done. It's over. Let's start new. Let's start anew. Let's start on a brand new journey together. We're going to accompany you on this journey. We're going to walk with you. And that's exactly what I needed. And I figure that while I'm here on earth, that's probably the closest thing that I will ever experience to the grace and forgiveness of Christ in human form. It was over. It was done. And that next day, I went back to their office. I didn't want to leave Planned Parenthood. I didn't want to leave Planned Parenthood without having another job because I made a lot of money at Planned Parenthood, and I didn't know how I was going to survive without that paycheck. And so I had decided I'm not leaving until I have another job. But the next day I went and had lunch with some pro-lifers from that group. And I remember standing in the parking lot, and I just looked at one of them, and I said, you know what? I'm going back today, and I'm going to resign. And I'm going to leave today, and today's going to be my last day inside of Planned Parenthood. And so I did go back. And I was trying to quietly pack up 8 years of things that I had accumulated and put them in my car. And so I was trying to kind of sneak around and do that. And it was finally the end of the day, and I turned in my resignation to Planned Parenthood. I faxed it over to the Human Resources Department, and I gave them, 5 minutes notice. And I'd already packed everything up, and I put all of my stuff in my supervisor's box, and I walked outside, and one of the guys from the pro-life group was out there. And because we didn't know what was going to happen when I left. We didn't know if it was going to become kind of volatile, or we didn't know what was going to take place. Thankfully, my supervisor wasn't there, so I left kind of without anybody paying attention. But he came to the clinic because he just wanted to make sure that everything was okay and that I left without incident. And he was standing out there, and I said hello, and I said that I would be at the office the next day. And I drove out. I remember taking a left out of the parking lot. I drove out of that parking lot for the last time. And I remember looking in my rearview mirror, and he didn't know that I could see him. But I remember him just falling to his knees with his arms in the air. Because, guys, there had to be times where they looked at me and they went, it's just never going to happen. She's never going to leave. She's here. She's winning awards. She's getting promotions. She's meeting Hillary Clinton. I don't put that on my resume, but she's doing all these things. She's never going to leave. Guys, they had to feel that sometimes. It's never going to happen. God, what are you doing? What is it going to take for her to get it together, for her to see what she's doing? But then it did happen. See, I'm up here today as a testament to the power of conversion. Nobody is beyond the power of conversion because, guys, nobody is beyond the power of Christ. But I wouldn't be here today if those people, those pro-lifers, had not shown me the love of Christ. And that's what we're here to do for these women. It's not just about speaking it, it's about showing it. It's about being the gospel to these women who come into our centers, who are so confused. And it is about believing, yes, believing that they will have a conversion of heart and mind. Because if we aren't sure that God can show up and transform the lives of every single woman that comes into our center, then we might as well close the doors and pack up. Because God can show up, and he will show up. We just have to have that faith. People tell me, oh, I don't know, Abby. I know this abortion doctor, and it's just never going to happen for him. It's never going to happen. And I always say, you know what? Then you must not know the same God that I do. Because the God I know, he is in the business of miracles. And he's doing them every day. And every woman that walks into your center, every woman that chooses life, guys, in this society, that is miraculous. That is a miracle in itself. He's showing up every day in the lives of your clients, in the lives of your staff, and he is real. His presence is real in your centers. So never doubt that power. Never doubt the power of conversion. And believe that it can happen. It's like that movie. If you believe it, they will come. Field of Dreams. Don't give up on God. And don't doubt his power. You know, we've had 180 abortion clinic workers come through our ministry, and then there were none. And these workers, thanks. These workers come to us not as victories for the pro-life movement, but as broken people in need of compassion and God's grace. And hopefully, through us, that's what they're able to receive. And out of those 180 abortion clinic workers, 6 of them have been doctors who performed abortions, who are now fighting to defend life instead of destroying it. And I remember talking to one of the doctors and one time, and he told me, he said, you know, Abby, he said, I never knew what this was going to be like when I stopped doing abortions. I was scared. I was worried about money. I never knew what it was going to be like. And I didn't know, how can God forgive me? I have taken the lives. I didn't help take lives. I held that suction machine. I took the lives of about 15,000 babies. How can God ever forgive me? How can he use me? And he said, I remember thinking I wasn't going to know how that was going to happen. I didn't know how God was going to forgive me. I didn't know what to expect when I stopped performing abortions. And he said, I tell you what, he said, I found God's grace. He said, but the one thing that I found that I didn't expect was forgiveness. He said, that forgiveness was so real and it was so tangible. He said, and I didn't expect forgiveness from people who were pro-life. Sometimes the women come into our clinics and they've had multiple abortions and they may think, they're never going to forgive me for what I've done. How can they forgive me? How can they do it? We're there to speak life into the lives of these women and to speak forgiveness and to be loving and to be accepting of them and to meet them where they are. And guys, lives are being changed every day. You know it. I know it. You see it in your centers. I see it with women who are leaving the abortion clinics. It's happening. It's working. We're making a difference. And together, by uniting together and believing in the power of conversion, I believe that we will see an end to legalized abortion in our lifetime. So thank you so much, everybody, and God bless you.